If you're somebody who wants to know how to quickly get into setting up ISO 27001 and getting your company organized to manage your cybersecurity and information security requirements, in this video, I'm going to be talking about my 5 quick tips to get you moving really quickly. Hopefully I can give you some motivation and some momentum to get onto it, tackle that really big mountain. It's not really a big mountain, but some people think it's a big mountain. Hey, my name's Kobi Simmat. I'm the founder here at Best Practice, and we're going to be running this live stream today. As always, this is our live stream time and location here on the Best Practice YouTube channel, and we're also streaming live on LinkedIn. I'm going to get into my 5 top tips for getting started quickly with information security and cybersecurity in your organization. Lots going on around the world right now with that, and I think now is the time, as I've been saying for the last couple of years, now's the time to get on with cybersecurity and get it going in your organization. So I'll get into those quick tips in a minute. This is our usual Wednesday live stream that we're bringing to you. So if you are watching after the recording and you're watching on our YouTube channel or on my LinkedIn page, please go ahead and comment. But anyone who is watching live, it really excites me when I see where you are watching from around the world. The last couple of months, we've had a great global audience, and it's great for me to get to see where everybody is around the world. Cam is here we're in the FCB boardroom. FCB is now our parent company. We're in the FCB boardroom in North Sydney, in Sydney, Australia. Kind of change of scenery for a moment. We're going to mix it up a little bit over the next couple of weeks with our live streams. So let me know where you are watching from. Cam is helping me here. He's going to turn my laptop around in a minute so I can see my dashboard and see everybody commenting, and I'm going to get straight into it. Okay, so let's just quickly talk about ISO 27001, and I guess this is tip number 1. Tip number 1 is follow a predetermined or preset framework. Thank you very much, Cam. Follow a preset and predetermined framework like ISO 27001. This is an international standard that gives you a framework to follow in your organization. This is the standard. It's not a very big document. I've got lots in it. But it kind of sets up some walls around setting up information security and cybersecurity in your organization. Because I think if you kind of tackle it alone, then you kind of don't know where it starts and where it stops. But if you follow a standard or a model like this, then it's going to give you a framework to follow, and then you just populate the parts. It's almost like a recipe methodology, if you like. So if you're thinking about cooking an amazing chocolate cake or cooking a great dish, you'll have a recipe and some ingredients and a method. And so it's like that. And I think that's a great thing for you in terms of giving you some confidence that you kind of know what you're doing. The standard itself is well supported by big industries globally. In the other parts of the ISO world, something like ISO 9001 quality assurance, there's tens of millions of companies that have got ISO 9001, quality management system in place. There's OH&S management systems. There's other forms of risk management systems. So the first thing is follow a framework of a risk management system framework. ISO 27001 is for cybersecurity. That's the framework that you want to follow. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is there is a free checklist available on the bestpractice.biz website. So if you go to bestpractice.biz, navigate through to training courses or the training academy, there's a free checklist that you can download for ISO 27001. And going through and doing your own gap analysis. So starting to learn and do some professional development around information security and cybersecurity in your organization using that checklist. So you can jump online, you can get that checklist for free. You can use that like an internal audit. Now, processes like that take practice. Don't expect to get it right first go. Managing information security and putting some preventative measures in place are about practicing over time. It's not about getting it absolutely perfect. No house is, even if you put all of the best locks on the doors of your house, people will still find a way to break in. And so we want to be preventative, and we want to start to, brainstorm where someone might break into our systems and start to learn about that, get the right people to help us, the right locksmith, the right builder, the right person with Windows. The same is with cybersecurity. So we want to get people involved, but you want to start to learn about it yourself. So if you're part of an organization, you're part of managing risk and part of kind of coordinating this framework, and you want to know more, then that checklist is a great place to start, because it helps to guide you through the standard, and it's a self-paced gap analysis or internal audit. Now, to meet the requirements of ISO 27001, like the full requirements, you will need to do internal audits. if you start by getting our checklist, and it's the gap analysis checklist, and starting to populate it, it's a form of internal audit. So you're already going to start to meet the intent of 27001 by being preventative in your methodologies in terms of going through and looking at what you should be doing and getting some awareness around where you might have gaps. Okay, tip number, what are we up to? 3. Tip number 3 is training. When we look at different models, ISO 27001 or the Essential 8 here in Australia, or different cybersecurity models from governments around the world, they all talk about training. When we look at the cybersecurity breaches, hacks, and cases, when we're looking at the data and in terms of what's happening in industries around the world, by far the largest finding with regards to the cause of little openings and loopholes is user error. That's your team members, the staff in your organization, making small mistakes, not knowing what they're doing, or being naive and opening emails or downloading applications or opening executable files or having weak passwords or not having two-factor authentication. And so the next thing is to start to do some training. Now, the great thing about best practice is there's a bunch of 27001 and information security videos on our YouTube channel, all free, and you can start circulating those. I would suggest that you organize formal training to kick this off, because if you just email out a video, there's a good chance that people in your organization are not going to watch it. So you do need to corral people into some sort of formal information and cybersecurity training and open the discussions in the business. So training, induction training, and then regular training. You've got to top people up. I was at my son's school the other day, which is an absolutely fantastic school, and I was looking at the extracurricular training for parents and families that comes with the school, and by far 50% of it was around cybersecurity and cyber safety and web safety and internet safety. So it is a big topic, and there's lots of material out there, but we want to bring awareness to our team members. So get some formal training in place, and then it needs to be frequent. So it might be that you do a 1 or a 2 hour topic once a quarter, talking about information and cybersecurity. You can talk about passwords. You can talk about ransomware. You can talk about malware. You can talk about executable files. You can talk about hacks. You can talk about protecting your computer. You can talk about two-factor authentication. Those are all the kinds of things that you can get started with to make people aware of how they can prevent small, naive mistakes that get made, which are 80% of the issues. There was a really big hack recently here in Australia of a large telco. There was a really big hack recently globally of a large hotel chain. There's a really big hack recently of a health fund. In fact, 2 private health funds, health insurance funds here in Australia. Some really, really high profile cybersecurity breaches in the last 4 weeks before shooting this video. And all of them have been put down to human error by a staff member in those organizations. So training is super important. Tip number, what are we up to? 4. Tip number 4 is to start to think about the IT professionals that support and help your organization. Now, when you start thinking about them and engaging with them and talking to them, I want you to take them to the back of the standard. I want you to take them to Annex A, which is on page 10 in the 2015 version of the standard, so ISO 27001 2015. Small disclaimer, there is a new version of the standard. There are less controls, but you want to start with these because they just merged a few of the lines and made it simpler, but it still all applies. So go to ISO 27001 2015 edition of the standard, go to this Annex A, and with your IT support team, your information security team, if things here that you don't understand, get them to brief you on that and start to focus on that. And these are what are called the controls at the back of the standard. And they are a very prescriptive way of going through and starting to manage information security and cybersecurity risk in your organization, both from a hard physical environment perspective, a soft environment perspective, and a cloud perspective, and also a user management perspective. A lot of people have been coming up to me and saying, hey, Kobi, you know, all of our systems are hosted in the cloud. We don't have a cybersecurity issue. 80% of your cybersecurity is user management. Amazon Web Services or any of your cloud providers, they of course manage the physical environment where the servers are, but you manage the users and the connectivity to that system. You're responsible for everything down to the, you know, almost the front door or where the optic fiber goes into the server location. You're responsible for managing those pathways and access outside of their controlled environment, and someone might tailgate you into the system. So we need to prevent that. So The tip number 4 is going over and reviewing these controls and basically going and starting to prepare yourself and assure yourself that you're following the intent of these controls. It's a couple of pages, 4 or 5 pages of them at the back of the standard. You will need to do that on a regular basis, but it is one of the ways to start familiarizing yourself with what you need to do and getting started and starting to implement. Tip number 5, implementation. It's all about implementation. You can have all of the policies and procedures written down, all the documents and all of that carry on and palaver under the sun. But the reality is it's about implementation. So if you write a policy, you need to implement that policy. And what does implement mean? It means share it with your team members, have them read it, ask them questions about it, and test them on it from time to time, and monitor them that they are following the intent of that policy and they are doing what it says. So whether that is a password policy, a 2-factor authentication policy, an email policy, a data management policy, a device management policy, a number of device logins policy, all those kind of aspects, a door locking policy, a swipe card policy, user onboarding and offboarding, all of those things need to be implemented. So that's tip number 5 is implementation. Now I'm going to give you a bonus tip and we're going to get into it, but I just want to quickly have a look and see where everyone's watching from. Stand by. Okay. What can I see there? No, so if you are watching live on LinkedIn or if you are watching live on YouTube, then please let me know in the comments where you're watching from, because it's great for me to see where you are around the world. And I've got LinkedIn, slightly different format to usual. I'm usually looking at a big television, but we've got, you want me to hit refresh? We've got live LinkedIn running, and we got some comments there. Yes, we've got a few comments. Okay. Hello, Brian. I haven't seen you for a while. So we've got Brian on board there in hopefully, I guess you're cooling off now. No, you'd be warming up, cooling off in Canada, up there in Alberta. Hello, Stan. Good to see you. Puzzle Duck. Hello there from Melbourne. So we've got a couple of people all over the world actually at the moment. So that's fantastic. If you are watching after the recording, those comments there are a great place to ask questions. If things I've covered, whether it's my top tips or my bits and pieces, you can cover those off. You can certainly hit those comments on LinkedIn or on YouTube there with your questions. And I do see the inbox. I get notifications, and I'll circle back and I'll chat with you backwards and forwards in the comments. Or you can always just join us live at the same time every week. Okay. Oh, it's cold, Brian. Yes, of course. Oh, and Mexico. Melbourne. So, Aaron, I think I owe you a phone call. I think I've got an email and I owe you a phone call. So I apologize. I haven't spoken to you about that. I think I've got an email there. So we can talk later today. I've actually got some time for that. So good to have the usual audience, all the usual suspects on LinkedIn today. Absolutely fantastic. Okay. Now, what can we do about this? There's a couple of things, and here comes the hard sell. We would like to certify your organisation for ISO 27001, and I can already see some customers that we're helping there in the list, particularly people like Stan Wall, already purchasing the certification service. So they've got the right to display these. Thank you, Brian. The slopes are beckoning me. Yes, that's correct. We're going to come for a white Christmas, not this year, but next year. So lining that up with the family. So thank you, Brian. This is ISO 27001 standard. Best practice is a certification or registrar company. We would like to certify your organisation. So if you are somebody who's looking for ISO 27001 and actually getting external third-party recognition for that, we have a great team of best practice assessors. You could call them auditors. We don't call them that, but best practice assessors can come in and certify you. They can do an audit against the 27001 standard and give you a certificate that is a globally recognized certificate. It's authorized and accredited under the JASANS framework or the International Accreditation Forum, and those certificates can be used worldwide. You can give them to your customers or your marketplace, or you can promote that you're certified and it's recognized worldwide. Okay, 2 more things. The second thing is of everything is there is an ISO 27001 course available on the Best Practice Training Academy. If you happen to get certified with best practice, those courses, some of those courses come in with certification. And when you get certified with best practice, you can put as many people in your company as you wish through those online training courses. That's what they're designed for. So you can buy them individually as courses, or when you sign up to get certified and audited and sign up for the certification service we have that's a subscription, then you get as many people in your company as you'd like. You can do internal auditor training, 27001 training. There's other standards there as well. That's absolutely sensational. Okay, if you're not going to get certified, you just want to know more about getting on with ISO 27001, we have published an ebook. It's called The Management System, or How to Build a Management System, or How to, I think, Document and Implement a Management System ebook. I'm going to get one of the team to drop that link in the comments to the ebook. It's a couple of $100. It's absolutely worthwhile. I've got some templates in there to help you set up a management system and help you with a process of how to implement it and in what stages. So I've loosely touched on those in this webinar today already. So I'd encourage you, if you don't have a copy of that ebook that's available on our website, please buy it, because it's got 20 years of my experience, 20 years of one of my other colleagues' experience, 20 years of another person's experience, and then all of the rest of best practice. There's about 100 years of experience built into that ebook. And if you were to get a consultant to do all of that work for you, you would be spending 20, 30, 40, maybe $100,000, depending on the size of your organization. And it's all there in that ebook for a couple of $100. So you can buy that. I think sometimes there are discount codes circulating around our YouTube channel and the internet. Stan Wall is saying there in the comments, the courses are well worth it, and a big thumbs up. Thank you, Stan. And that's a live testimonial. So we put a lot of work into that training academy. It's there for you guys to do. So please get into it. If you are an existing best practice customer and you didn't know, yes, you can get access to that. Speak to your best practice assessor. They will give you the link to set your library up that comes with your subscription, and you can circulate that to your staff. So lots of great ways to learn here at Best Practice, lots of great information on the way. There we go. The link has been dropped in the comments on YouTube. If we get that link dropped into LinkedIn, that will be fantastic. You can click that link, that will take you straight across to the library. Okay, and you can have a look at what's in the store. All right, I wanted to, quick games, good game here in the webinars at Best Practice. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to be doing next week. There will definitely be a video come up. Whether it's live or not, I'm not sure. Cam and I will work on that. There'll definitely be a video drop at this time next week. So keep your eyes on the Best Practice YouTube channel for more great learning content. Please have a big scroll through the YouTube channel and go right ahead and click that share button and copy the link if you want to include any of our courses in your company inductions, training your staff, onboarding new staff, re-educating staff. Lots of great opportunities. Are there any questions from anybody? I'm going to wait a couple of minutes and then we might call it off. So I hope everybody from around the world has enjoyed this really quick game. Quick game's a good game. And there's a couple of people there, obviously, I'm due catch-ups with. So thanks for watching today, and we'll try and make contact over the next couple of weeks. Okay, I can't see any questions. So I'm going to talk about the fact that we will have a video drop the same time next week. I'm not sure what that will be. Keep an eye on that. For those of you that have been following me for a while, my book's nearly finished, which is really exciting. It's going to be a while before it's published, but it's certainly going to the publishers over the next couple of months. So I'm super excited about that. I've been working on that in the background. So more on that next year. So we'll have lots more detail and pre-release launches after Christmas. Okay. So lots going on Instagram, lots going on LinkedIn, as per usual. Crazy stuff happening on TikTok. I was recently on a great podcast, so keep a look on my Instagram for a recent podcast interview. Really great conversation with a very good friend of mine, Dylan Mullen. So look out for that. And there's going to be lots of great content coming your way off the back of that podcast where I was interviewed. So he extracted a heap of great gems out of me, which is beneficial to you if you want to have a business that's a great place to work, a business that's a great place to buy from, and a business that's a great place to invest in. Lots of great stuff. Before I go, you have to check out the FCB group. They're now our parent company. There's lots of great products. I'm about to stop this video and shoot another video on a great product, HR Assured. I'm super excited about that. Lots of great stuff going on. So if you're somebody who is interested in getting around the HR compliance in your organization, understanding what your obligations are, having access to 24/7 legal support. So industrial relations lawyers, have a look at HR Assured. You can just Google it. It'll come up. It's a really great product. There's a really great team of law partners that are involved in it, a really great piece of software that's part of a subscription. And I'm literally about to shoot an introductory video that's going to be emailed out to the client base of Best Practice. So if you're on our email list, you'll get a copy of that and you can jump in. And there's a free diagnosis process that you can go through and do a review. It's worth $750. It's an introductory offer to that HR Assured product. They're building an OH&S component to it, which is going to be really interesting. It's definitely got some OHS auditing functionality and incident reporting functionality. It's absolutely fantastic product, but definitely make sure you engage with the FCB group, parent company. The big parent company is Citation, the Citation Group, and they're out of the UK. So you want to Google those and have a look at them and see what brands there are. And if you want introductions to anyone in that group, please let me know. Okay, that's it from me on LinkedIn and YouTube for this week. There'll definitely be a video next week. Not sure if it's going to be live, but if you don't see me there, have a look at TikTok because there's some crazy stuff happening on TikTok. And if you don't see me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or TikTok, you definitely see me right here next time on Best Practice TV. My name's Kobi Simmat. I'm the founder of Best Practice. Bye for now.